Hello, everyone, and welcome to Step into the Pivot. This is our 4th of July edition. I'm super excited about it. It's just Ivana and I today. So I'm always excited when we have so many, we get to just spend time together and talk about our stories and our pivots in our world. It just is special to me. So we really are excited about this 4th of July episode. And we kind of love to do these event episodes. I don't know. But I don't know about you, and I know Ivana hasn't talked yet, so I'm kind of holding her off for a minute. So just FYI. But when we think about 4th of July, for me, I grew up on the East Coast of the United States in Pennsylvania. And 4th of July was really the summer kickoff. We didn't get out of school until mid-June. It wasn't like in today's world. I think Memorial Day is a lot of the summer kickoff for us. It was always 4th of July. And 4th of July was a really cool day. We always had a picnic with family. We always spent that time together. And we always ended the night with fireworks, right? Fireworks are such an important part of 4th of July. I honestly can't even remember the last time I haven't seen fireworks on the 4th of July. So, I love that story. But fireworks aren't always the same to everybody. So I want to have this conversation with Ivana because I don't think she's really told her story on Step into the Pivot and talked about her pivots, right? So I'm going to let Ivana just jump right in and, tell us about her life story and what one of her biggest pivots in life is. So, Ivana, it's yours.
Thank you, Teresa. But we'll continue to keep this, a dialogue
Absolutely.
because it's just first of all, I want to say how sweet it is to just picture you enjoying the summer as a kid and enjoying the fireworks. And it just warms my heart when you say that. I love that. I really love that. And maybe one day we'll have a chance to celebrate with some fireworks together.
That would be
Um,
awesome, actually.
that would be
Maybe in
really
Europe
fun.
sometime. That would be fun.
Yes. Yeah, so you mentioned Europe, so our listeners have probably heard that I'm from Europe. My accent is from Croatia. I grew up there, and if you listen to one of our original episodes, first episodes where we shared a little bit about our background, I said that I play the pivot bingo, all kinds of different pivot experiences. And so the one I wanted to highlight for today, but we'll keep it light and focused on the holiday kind of aspect of it, is the fact that I lived in Croatia. I was there during the civil war in the 90s. So I left Croatia after the war, and as an immigrant, I decided to do that. So I uprooted myself from that homeland and from the family and from the language and the culture. And I've been looking for many different ways to stay connected. So today I still, I feel so blessed. I feel like I have many homes and, it's like I very much feel like a global citizen of the world, but it was very much a defining pivot that I initiated. So the decision to immigrate and was something that I chose to do, and it disrupted everything I knew. And then it really forced me to build a brand new identity in this new place. So I, unlike you, I didn't grow up celebrating the 4th of July, but it was one of the first things that the Americans, my new American, family and this culture that I was finding my way through, um, showed me as, hey, there's this cool thing that we do. So I joined in right off the bat. So as soon as I started, spending time in the United States, it was about the 4th of July. And so that was very symbolic from the beginning. But at first, it wasn't really celebratory for me. And it took me a while to figure out what was going on. Because this was, now that I think about it, now that I know what was going on, it's so obvious. But at first, know that it took me, quite a few years to realize, why is this fun and beautiful thing, the fireworks and the colors and everything, why is this so loud and jarring and triggering, and what's going on for me? And it's because fireworks triggered memories of war, because they really do sound exactly the same as grenades. It's the exact same noise. So it took me a while to figure it out, but then I realized, okay, every time I hear it, my nervous system gets really activated. and it feels so uncomfortable, and it was just all very, nerve-wracking, for lack of a better, you know, way to describe it.
I can totally see, when I knew what you were going to talk about clearly, but our listeners probably didn't. And I think the thing is that again, we're at, what means something to one person, you don't know what that other person's going through or what they're thinking. So when you talk about fireworks in that respect, right? I mean, we think about it because, our dogs get upset when fireworks go off, and maybe our little kids might get upset, right? But for somebody like you may not have thought that. So, talk a little about how those fireworks, related to your personal growth, your mental and emotional health journey, because I know that there's more there that you had to figure out why this was happening, right?
Yeah, and I promised I was gonna keep this light because because actually early there is, this I started to unpack it here, and it sounds pretty serious, right? I invoke trauma, nervous system jarring. I use some, big words like grenades, right? And I that's all true, but I was noticing then when I started to piece together what was really happening, that, listening to the fireworks was actually more difficult than seeing them. So that was one of the first clues that I had, that something, here could both be like really related to something deeper, but that also maybe I could do some stuff to heal it. It was when I realized that it was worse to just be sitting inside and choosing to, let's say, try to watch a movie and not participate in celebrations, but hear the fireworks. That was way more difficult than exposing myself to the whole shebang.
Well, I could see that, right? Because if you were out there with everybody and everybody's going, ooh and ah, and look at the pretty fireworks, right? It's probably a different experience. So I love that you put it in that frame, right?
Yeah. Exactly. And I started to realize that, if I don't have actually enough visual cues that I am here in a different country, in a totally different context, and there is a different situation, and I'm not back in the 90s, in the war-ridden Croatia. If I don't have enough cues, it's easy to just kind of like start to go a little hypnotized by the whole situation and spiral down into a state of distress where essentially like this younger aspect of me starts to govern the whole show. And one way I like to say it is, like, kind of doesn't know what time it is and doesn't know what date it is. So I realized that maybe what I can do here is actually, I guess a cliche way to say it would be to fully embrace it. But really, what that meant was to just intentionally start to celebrate the 4th of July and redefine it. And the first thing I wanted to really play with was this notion of independence. Like, wait, this is a sweet metaphor that I could really personalize and take completely, I guess, out of the whole, American context, and make it extremely, extremely individual, um, while participating in the festivities, I guess. And I started to intentionally think of ways to really use this day as a day of celebration of my, personal freedom from fear. So it's been really fun doing that. So for me, the magic of the 4th of July really meant, okay, I'm going to reclaim this, sense of giddiness and happiness, because when I tune in and I take away all of the filters of all the like bad stuff that my mind would associate with the noises, I love the sparkliness of the fireworks. I love the fun of it. I like to. I mean, sometimes I just joke about it. I like to actually. Turns out, I like to actually do it. I like to light those things up. I've
Well,
tried it.
and like as kids,
Yeah.
and I can't even just say as kids, even now, like we always buy sparklers, right? And you light
Yes.
those and you walk around with them, and they're just fun, right? They're something that's fun to look at. So, right, I totally love that you're saying that. I
Yeah.
mean, I think that's what we all kind of think, but your story's a little different.
Yeah. It was really fun. Then I went through this phase of many years when our one of our producers, Liam, um, my son was much younger. I was like, okay, we're gonna do this right. and we would buy these, acceptable, acceptable fireworks. And I got to really get familiar with all the funny names. The Green Lantern was one of my favorites, and and
Yeah.
then I would just like let myself enjoy it. And there would be this, I guess you could call it like a mindfulness practice of, really slowing things down for myself while I was doing these, experiences of like getting the thing and then setting it up and then making sure that everything is safe and then lighting it and then watching it and essentially like rewiring, repatterning, this experience and saying to myself, some version of like, I'm safe, I'm choosing to do this, I'm choosing to infuse this with celebration, with a sense of, openness and freedom. And, I get to have joy. I get
Yeah.
to, feel the light and the sparkle. I deserve
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, you totally do. And one of the things you said, I want to just repeat, right? You talked about how that you reclaimed that 4th of July as a personal ritual of freedom for yourself, right? You let go in order to really to move on, to move, and now that's looking back at it, it's something now you celebrate, right? Something that you really used in that manner. I think we needed to repeat that, right? Because I think it's an important piece of your story and who you are. And sometimes, we're using the fireworks as an example, but a lot of people need sometimes to, reclaim their something for themselves, right? To start over, to, have that trigger that, okay, this now has worked for me. This is no longer something I'm afraid of, but something that I view as something that pushed me forward.
Yeah. Exactly. And in my work, I do talk with a lot of different people. And as you know, I pay super close attention to all kinds of mental health conversations. And I am fully aware, and I just want to presence that here with us, that there are all kinds of ways in which we could examine the 4th of July from a variety of different perspectives. And also, the way I'm talking about it, this is, please, that this is, so personal. And it's me, looking for a way to, really transmute and transform something on the inside that was really, keeping me caged in and kind of hostage.
Mhm.
So I recently worked on this beautiful tool that we have. We call it a ritual technology tool at Courageous, being courage cards. And some of you may have seen them. We were releasing them digitally, like one at a time for a while. And then we created a physical deck. And so this is something that I use on a daily basis to essentially ground, center, get inspired. So I might, pull a card on a daily basis to remind myself of some conscious leadership principles. And one of the cards that we made on purpose was actually inspired by this whole experience I'm talking about. So I'm lifting it up here for us to see if you're watching us. It's Toast Your Triumphs. And I worked with my collaborator and beautiful design artist, Kristen Anderson. And I told her basically, this has got to be fireworks, just make this really, really festive. And for everyone listening to this episode now, the behind the scenes for like what really inspired this. So I might, if you don't mind, Teresa, is it okay if I read the message associated with
Absolutely.
toasting your triumphs?
And I love that saying, and the art is beautiful, that toast your triumphs. Yeah, please read it. Yeah, I'd love to hear it.
So
I have
this is
not
my
heard it yet.
4th of
So
July. Yeah, this is my 4th of July message to all of us, and starting with you, my friend, and myself, and everybody else who could use a little, pick me up, feel better. 4th of July or any day, toast your triumphs. It says, reflect on this: the limits you pushed, the fears you stared down, the choices you made moment by moment, even when no one was watching. This is transformation. Not one grand event, but the steady layering of effort, courage, and growth over time. You turn challenges into lessons, lessons into strengths, and strength into momentum. Take stock of your growth and celebrate how you have evolved.
I love that. I love that. That was a great way to use that card. Um, that says so much about you, so much about us, right? And who we should be. Yeah, I absolutely love that. Now I know that that was one of your aha moments was those courage cards. Anything else you would talk about when you talk about, an aha revelation that you had kind of as a result of that firework pivot? Anything else you would share with us there?
Go deeper. Go deeper. There's if something feels a little off, it's a personal experience. First, the go deeper and get curious. So I'm happy now that I went deeper and realized that if something was really feeling off on that picnic blanket, the first time I was sitting and trying to celebrate and it just didn't quite feel right. I had no clue how deep this would go and being curious about it and dropping in first by myself, and then asking for support about it is really, really helpful. So,
Absolutely. And we all need support, right? Whether it's fireworks or whether it's something else going on in our lives, right? It's all about the support. I actually it's funny you mentioned that because I just wrote a blog post about that and about how, somebody I was talking with and, they were like spilling this story to me and really I didn't do anything except sit there and listen to them and support them and let them talk and, you know, when I said something to her later, she's like, you really helped me, just the fact that you listened, right? So I love that
yeah.
we can connect how that all works together in our universe.
Yes, that is so beautiful.
Yeah,
So beautiful. Would you like
awesome.
a card? Should we pull you a card for
Sure,
4th of
let's
July
pull me a card
celebration?
because then we're going to get to our final question, that,
Okay,
so yeah, but
let's
let's
see.
pull me a
So
card
toaster
because I love that.
triumphs. So
Toast
let's
your
see what you get
triumphs.
in celebration. I'm going to ask it like this. This is like a little conscious leadership message for you this 4th of July. Okay. So say
Okay,
stop when you want me to stop shuffling the cards and then we'll see
all
what you
right,
get.
stop
Okay. And then say now when you want me to pull a card.
now.
Oh, darling, this is so lovely. It's exactly what you were just talking about. It said caring counts, you know? And oftentimes this card is about how being loving, even in the business setting, is not a weakness. Love can be seen as soft. Don't mistake this softness for weakness. So, this beautiful thing you were describing about being
Yes.
available, right? I mean, I just love that as someone who did have a history of, dealing with some of these like silent things that I couldn't really talk about, especially in the corporate setting, having people like you be nearby and just be available. What a difference that this made. In truth, it says courage comes from core, the word for heart, which you probably know, and it takes real bravery to communicate with heart and show that caring deeply matters. Sometimes I say this is my Care Bear card. Yeah, sharing is caring, caring is
But caring deeply does matter. And,
yes.
just showing up and showing that you care and letting somebody talk and listen. I think that's one of the things, to be honest, that I've really learned over the past couple years, right? Like I am definitely different when I used to be go, 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 go and not worry about it. And I was like, nobody wants to hear my story. Nobody wants to hear me complain. Nobody wants, but you know, if people can talk and get that out, sometimes that's all they need is somebody to care, somebody to listen, somebody to show up for them, right? It's all those things can come together. So yeah, I love this message. Okay, we're almost out of time, so I really want you to talk about our final question. How was this pivot a step forward? You have to do it. I'm sorry, I have to do it.
Um, bigger life, really more expanded. On the one hand, I have reclaimed joy. There is something that happens for me, like I say, like that 4th of July just now connotes celebration and festivities outside of any, kind of like bigger context, so personal and it's so wonderful. So expanded into more joy and also expanded into more capacity to feel all of my feelings, even the ones that were really challenging. And then from there, like we were just talking about, expanding into being able to care more. So allowing for, other people to like really come and ask for support and really be someone who can this 4th of July just show up with curiosity and recognize that people are going to have all kinds of experiences, and that, we can be there for each other through it all, no matter what.
I love that. And I'm going to say one more thing that you wrote kind of in our show notes, our kind of prep notes, right? Because, we kind of do this, but you said that July 4th for me is much more than a holiday. It's a personal ritual of reclamation, a day when I honor how far I've come. And I had to say that. I'm sorry, you
Thank
wrote it down,
you. That
and
is
it
so
was something that
beautiful.
really spoke to me. So
So
I felt I
beautiful.
had to say it because I love that
I
you think that.
love that. Thank you for lifting me up like this. This is you doing it. You're carrying in real time. This is something that, yeah, I absolutely feel that way. And, here being with you and being in this like organic share, I wouldn't have, brought that up if you didn't say it. So thank you for
No, I
doing
think
that.
it was something that spoke to me when I saw that you wrote that down. So I felt we had to cover that. So to our listeners, we wish you a happy 4th of July. Enjoy the fireworks. Make them work for you, whatever that looks like. Ivana, what would you like to add here? And thank you for sharing your story. I need to say that as well.
Yes, I would invite everybody to think about like what is something that would for you stand for this personal ritual of reclamation. Is there something in your life that feels like you could animate more into, live more into, reclaim? And then is there something really simple that you could do to make that happen?
Yeah. No, I love that. And we're like kind of right at the middle of the year. So it's a good time to put
Mm.
that into play for the rest of this year. So I think that's an amazing way for us to end. Again, to our listeners, happy 4th of July. Have a wonderful, safe holiday. Thank you again for listening. Thank you to Ivana for sharing her story. I am so honored and love being here with her. So it's an amazing time for all of us. And thank you, everybody. And remember, if you have a pivot, step into it.